fact, good intentions and well wishes are pretty useless to someone in need. Let's say I just get into bed and my wife asks me to fill her water bottle. I look at her and I go, man, that's a great idea. Have a great night, stay well hydrated. And I turn over and I close my eyes. How's that going to go for me? The response is not only dumb, but it's also not helpful. I'm not actually doing anything about her need. All the words and kindness and good intentions I may have are not going to fill up that water bottle. I actually need to take real practical action to go in the kitchen, fill it up. And James wants to make it very clear to us that nice words and good intentions don't actually count if you are not actually meeting the needs of the person. All your nice words have no value. Good deeds are not good intentions. On the other side of things, good deeds are also not legalistic works of the law. It's easy to read the book of James and come to the conclusion that Paul and James are fighting with each other. Paul talked plenty about good works. In Philippians, he says, I once thought these things, all his religious things that he did, all the rules he followed, were valuable, but now I consider them worthless. I no longer count on my own righteousness through obeying the law. Rather, I become righteous through faith in Christ. So what gives? Why is James now saying that you need these good deeds when Paul says faith is enough and works are worthless? And this is why Martin Luther famously titled James a book of straw. He even had, when he made his Bible translation, he even had a little section at the back of the Bible that he put the book of James into because it was less important than the other books. He saw no gospel substance in the book of James. In his view, James championed the importance of works while Paul clearly saw no value in them. But Paul and James aren't working against each other. They're just talking about two different things here. When Paul speaks of good works, he's talking about the self-righteous works of the law. Paul's audience is under the impression that these legalistic good works, that following the rules will somehow contribute to their salvation, make them good enough to be saved. By doing all the right things, they will somehow earn their salvation. But when James is talking about good deeds here, he's not talking about works of the law. He's talking about works of love, works of kindness. James's audience thinks that actions aren't necessary. I have faith. My belief is enough. I'm good. I don't have to go to all that trouble. They believe the right things, so nothing else is required. Paul says good works are not necessary for salvation. And James says that faith that results in salvation will produce good deeds. They aren't contradicting each other. They're just talking about two different things. So the good deeds James talks about, they're works of love, things we do for others that meet their needs. Good intentions, well wishes, God bless on the way out the door, doesn't cut it. But why do I need these good deeds? Why are they important? I can have faith. I can come to church and believe the right things. I can have faith and still be good, right? I don't have to go to all that trouble. So James continues on. So you see, faith by itself isn't enough. Unless it produces good deeds, it is dead and useless. Now, some may argue, some people have faith, others have good deeds. But I say, how can you show me your faith if you don't have good deeds? I will show you my faith by my good deeds. You say you have faith, for you believe there is one God? Good for you. Even the demons believe that. They tremble in terror. How foolish! Can't you see that faith without good deeds is useless? Faith without good deeds is useless. Doesn't benefit anyone anything. James's first statement here in verse 17 is that faith is not enough. Well, what is faith not enough for? James already told us the answer. Back in verse 14, he says, "A faith without deeds, can it save anyone?" It's a rhetorical question, with the obvious answer he's looking for is no, it cannot. So faith without good deeds is not enough to save someone. Oh, red flags. Sounds bad. We've been taught by Paul we're saved by grace through faith alone, not by anything we do. And that's right. But hear James out on this. Faith that does not produce deeds is useless. It has no life in it. This clock here, it's been hanging out in the foyer. And there's a problem with it. You might notice, if I hold it correctly, it's broken. Doesn't tell the right time. What good is it? What good is this as a clock? What good is it for anything? It's useless. Might as well not exist. Just like your faith without good deeds. Okay, but there's different giftings for different people. I mean, over there, they're the ones that are good at doing the doings. They're good at the good works. I have strong faith. I'm gifted in faith. I believe really well. So I don't have to go and do all the things because they're really good at doing the things. I'm just not really called to that part of it. And James has a question for you. How do you prove your faith without the deed? You need the deed to prove your faith. You might say, well, I don't have to prove anything to anyone. How's that going to go over with God when you tell him that? What about when Jesus said, your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples? The world doesn't know that you love others because you talk about it all the time. Oh man, I just really love everybody. It's your actions that show your love and will prove that you are his disciples. Without the deeds, without the proof, it's all just talk. It's all just talk. I could drive by the biggest house in town and say, yeah, that's my house, I own it. You won't believe me unless I show you I have the title deed, my name is on there. I need the deed to prove it. I can talk for ages about theology and this great faith that I have. I can say, this is my faith. I am a Christian. If I don't have the deeds, though, not only can I not prove that I'm a Christian, I'm actually not. It's not actually true. So James continues with another example that is just as shocking as it is offensive. Guess who else has faith? Guess who else believes? Even the demons believe there is one God. And he's not just pulling some random belief out of a hat for them. He's referring to the Shema. His Jewish audience is very familiar with this statement found in Deuteronomy. They say it every day. And the Shema is the core tenet that the Jewish faith is built on. And it starts, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one." So James, as he writes to his audience, he says, look at this. The demons believe the same as you. They believe the same, but the response isn't good deeds. The response is fear, trembling. James might even be hinting to his audience here that the demons have better faith than them. Because at least there's some response, there's some action. They respond. At least there's some kind of response to the faith that they have. Faith without good deeds is just as useless as the faith of demons. It's like if you buy a brand new sports car. You go and show it off to your friends. Everybody's admiring it, standing in the driveway. Looks amazing. Inevitably, someone says, well, start it up. You say, all right, can't do that. There's no fuel in it. Everybody starts looking confused. And so you answer defensively, it's a really cool car. It's good enough on its own. Why would I need something as gross and toxic as gasoline to put in there? I don't want that in there. And you're so convinced that the car doesn't need gas, you just deleted the fuel tank. We don't need that. And all your friends there are going to say the same thing as James. They're going to say, you dum-dum. Can't you see that the car is a useless lawn ornament without fuel? You foolish person. Can't you see that your faith is useless without deeds? You need the deed to prove your faith. So what role do deeds play then? Do good deeds somehow contribute to our salvation? James ends with a couple of examples to show us how these things work together. Don't you remember that our ancestor Abraham was shown to be right with God by his actions when he offered his son Isaac on the altar? You see, his faith and his actions worked together. His actions made his faith complete. And so it happened just as the scriptures say. Abraham believed God, and it was credited to him as righteousness because of his faith. He was even called the friend of God. So you see, we are shown to be right with God by what we do, not by faith alone. Rahab, the prostitute, is another example. She was shown to be right with God by her actions when she hid those messengers and sent them safely away by a different road. Just as the body is dead without breath, so also faith is dead without good works. Real, living, useful faith produces salvation and good deeds. Useful faith produces both salvation and good deeds. We get two examples of how faith, good deeds, and salvation all work together. We're first reminded of Abraham's story. And James says, we know that Abraham was right with God, saved. He was right with God. It's not because he said he had faith or gave verbal assent to the truth that God exists. Oh yeah, he's real, he exists, he's there. When was Abraham shown to be right with God? When he acted by putting his son on the altar. He was shown to be right with God. We too, we're shown to be right with God by what we do, not simply because I believe the right things. It's by the actions that those beliefs, that faith produces. Our second example is Rahab, the prostitute. There couldn't be two more different people than Abraham and Rahab. Abraham, a wealthy, moral male, patriarch of Israel, and a major figure. Rahab was probably poor, immoral, female outcast of the Canaanites, and a very minor figure. Yet both of them had faith. They believed, and that faith resulted in actions, good deeds. And because they had a faith that produced good deeds, they were made right with God. They were saved. If I tell you that I'm a farmer, and we get to August, and I bring you out to a field, and we get there, and there's nothing but tilled dirt in that field, you look at me and you say, you're not a farmer. Well, I have this land. I used this tractor to disc the field. I fertilized the soil. I watered it. Did all the farmer things. Why would you say I'm not a farmer? I have no crop. There's no crop. I haven't produced anything. And a farmer who never produces crop is not a farmer. A Christian who doesn't produce good deeds is not a Christian. Now, don't get it twisted. James isn't saying that faith plus our good deeds equals salvation. Both those things together, they equal salvation. That's not what he's saying. James is saying faith equals good deeds plus salvation. We don't contribute to our salvation, but we can't have our salvation without good deeds. If good deeds are missing, why would you possibly expect that faith to give you salvation? You cannot have a salvation that is not also packaged with good deeds. You need the deed to prove your faith, or else it's all pointless. Your faith is dead and useless unless it produces actions of love and kindness to those around you. These aren't legalistic works of the law. We're not following just following all the rules to check a box off. They're not well-intentioned best wishes and a God bless you out the door. But genuine acts of love and kindness that meet the needs of others. Without these, we have a useless faith. If we fail to do good to each other and in our community, then it's time to lock up the doors. Nothing we do here matters unless it translates to good deeds beyond those doors. Only faith that is alive and useful will produce salvation, but not without good deeds. Faith and good deeds work together to prove that our faith is genuine, it's real. You need the deed to prove your faith. You say you have faith? Great. That's awesome. It's a good start. Now go prove it.